Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to another episode of Channel Your Light, Own Your Intuitive. I am so honored and privileged that each and every one of you are here. If you have not done so already, please make sure you subscribe to the channel and you click on the notification bell so you can be notified every time new videos, episodes, teachings, channels, and messages from Spirit come through. And of course, please leave your comments. I love to read your comments. This helps these messages to get out to other people that need them at this time. And this particular message is a very potent one that a lot of people need to hear right now. So, your rebirth is assured. This has multiple meanings. Many of you probably and likely have been facing a multitude of different aspects or dimensions of the self, whether it is from past lives, past relationships, things being healed in the now moment in this life. The Great Awakening is indeed a culmination life, removing the wheel of karma for many as we open to the 12 chakra energy centers, which did come through in previous channels that were posted on this YouTube channel, opening up to all of the higher frequencies and higher dimensional aspects because we are ready for them. Your rebirth is assured no matter what you are facing, no matter what you are going through. I'm being told to remind you there is no amount at the Gesha. I'm being shown some of you have an energy, whether this is familial, whether this is a relationship dynamic, a work dynamic, or an internal struggle or battle that you are having. It's almost like I'm seeing somebody outside of you or an exterior energy or an energy from your past coming up with a jug of water and pouring it on your flame. Your inner flame, your inner passion, the fire that burns within you, the candle of light of who you are, the light. It's like I'm watching somebody come consistently over and over from the dark. It's coming from the dark. It's almost like some of you it's a hidden energy. Some of you it's family. Some of you it's patterning. Some of you it's from past lives energy showing up. Everybody will be slightly different. So take this as it resonates. I'm being shown very clearly that this jug is repeatedly being taken and pouring out your flame and snuffing out the flame. What is not known, it is known now that flame cannot be extinguished. It is external light. It is eternal life. It is given to you through the very essence of who you are, many lives and many masters. Do you notice that how many times that your light has been dimmed, maybe put in a corner or in a closet and the door shut? Some of us did that to ourselves because you have dealt with persecution or other things like that. It is time for the light to come out, for the light that lies within you. I am being shown the candle, the flame that you are is growing so big and so tall that there is no jug of water big enough to flood it out. There isn't one. This cannot happen. Here is what is written on the candle. For many lives you have struggled. You have been on the wheel of karma. You have looked at the AKASH records. This is the culmination lifetime, which means those that have hurt you or harmed you, and that you too have hurt and harmed in many lives past. You are all present in the present moment, in the present avatars, to heal these things. It is a powerful opportunity, and you're knowing that your rebirth is assured because of this simple fact. When someone shows up with something from the past that hurts, look at it and say, I know you. This is why you're here. Every time you face feeling disempowered, because many light workers are feeling disempowered or facing great darkness. In one of the previous channels, what came through and that I talked about was that as we unearth, as we illuminate with the light, that which is done in the dark, that which is hidden, that which is in the recesses of our subconscious, illuminating the past that has been hidden from us for so long. This means that all that darkness comes up to the surface. Our job is not to sit in the darkness. Our job is not to go back into the pattern of it. Our job is to see it and say, You are here so I can heal. You are here so I can be empowered. Every time you face someone who shows up with words of hate, wave your wands of love. I see you, for hate is simply the absence of love. The darkness is simply the absence of light. And what are we doing? Sweet love lights, sweet light workers. You are pouring love into the places where love was not, where it was absent. You are pouring light into the places that it is dark, where light was absent. Sometimes we need to take a perspective and understanding that there are people who are with you now in this lifetime, who are with you here from the past to heal things from the past. It is not a punishment. You are calling forward any residue, anything that needs a deep illumination, a deep pouring of love, a deep healing. Every time you face a darkness, every time you face a codependency, every time you face the words of hate from another, every time you face something that feels oppressive, remember this. It is only there so you can choose the track of love. You can choose the track of light. You can choose the track of empowerment. You can choose the track of the Christ is risen within, the Holy Trinity, whatever your faith is, whatever your race or culture is, whatever you are healing at this time, because it is darkest before the dawn, not because it needs to be the darkest, friends, but because we don't realize the dawn is right there. We don't realize that we are pouring love into it. Do not allow the circumstances that show up in your life or the emotions, no matter how dark it feels or how old it feels or like you have been there before. Do not allow yourself to be taken down into that rabbit hole. Look upon it and see it for what it truly is. Take off the mask, take off the rose-colored glasses, take off the glasses of dark and look at it. See it for what it is. It is your opportunity. This is not the first time I've said this, but I'm being told it's imperative that this really gets nailed in, understood, where the seed that was planted on the earlier channels months and months and months ago. For some of you, I've spoken about this a couple of years ago. For those of you who have been following me through this journey, those seeds were planted. It is time for them to grow. It is time for them to thrive. It is time for you to transcend those things. It is time for you to heal from all of the past things. Sometimes healing does not mean going down the track and doing it again. Sometimes healing is saying, I know you, I see you, and I say no. And here's why this is powerful. This is powerful because every time it shows up and every time you say no in this life, every time you choose love, every time you choose you, every time you choose to take the high road, every time you choose to look upon it with compassion and light and love and understanding that you get to walk away from that. Every time you do this, that darkness, that oppression, that codependency, that trauma, it gets smaller. It loses its power. I'm seeing somebody standing feeling completely disempowered. Your entire life has been a train wreck is what I am hearing. You'll know if this message is for you. You will feel like it has been a train wreck of oppression, suppression. You will feel like all of the circumstances that have surrounded you, great disappointments, great betrayal, great trauma, great loss. Look upon all of it and see that not one thing of that can disempower you from where you stand at this point. Your understanding that every time you said no, every time you stood up, every time you loved despite being hated, every time you walked away, every time you say no, it loses its power. It loses its ability to have power over you. And that's the whole point. That energy gets smaller and smaller and the dark gets smaller and smaller. I'm seeing the yin and yang. For some of you, the darkness that has taken over made you feel disempowered. I'm being shown, actually, this is a picture that I took and I looked at yesterday from the spiritual expansion retreat that we did back in July in Costa Rica. Epic experience. I will be sharing the amazing, incredible, miraculous things that happened there that I'm still in awe of and still shocked by. But I want to go back to this. I took a picture of a yin and yang that was embedded in the yoga shala floor. The white area of the yin and yang with the black dot was normal, and the black area of the yin and yang with the white dot actually had light illuminated all the way around it. In fact, the light was huge. The white color of it was huge in the black spot. way bigger than the actual balance of what that was. Somebody on here needs to know that is what is happening for you. That's the whole purpose. There is light in the dark because it allows us to be empowered. All of these things are going to come up on the main stage in your personal lives for some of you. Some of you are going to see it in communities. You're going to see it in your towns, in your cities. You're going to see that darkness come up, trying to hold its grip. And every time you just stand up and say no in your power, because it's not there to disempower you, it's not there to oppress you, you must take the stance and the position of power and look upon it with the eyes of the divine will, of the deep honoring and sacredness and the holy trinity of you and the person or the thing or the story that stands in front of you that asks you to disempower yourself again. Say no. Every time you do this, it loses power, it loses power, it loses power, it loses power because you take back your power. At this stage of the game, my friends, nothing can take away your power unless you allow it to. Do not allow it to. Always come back to this and do not judge or shame yourself if you've gone back into that disempowerment state. I know for me, that's been one of my biggest lessons in this life of feeling disempowered through different experiences. And at the end of the day, each and every one of them is designed. It is by divine design to empower me, to get me to stand up and say no, because every time I say no to something that takes away from me, that silences me, that tries to dim my light, tries to hold me down, every time I say no, I become so strong and powerful. The light within me, the candle grows so enormous that nothing can take it out. And through that, I'm being shown somebody who is really in the dark right now. I need to tell you, every time your candle has been snuffed out, we have been lighting 10 candles to replace it, tenfold in the light, white candles of light all the way around you. Look up from the dark and look around the room and see how many candles of light have been lit around you, protecting you, shielding you, showing you who you are. For every time your light has been dimmed out, it is returned tenfold. Tenfold candles are lit within your energy for everyone that was blown out. I know not the person that this message is for, and yet I do. Because it is for many of us. And it's often for me too. Ava says, love knows no bounds. To believe that you are disempowered is to disempower the self. No one can disempower you unless you allow them to, no matter the circumstance. There are many circumstances on this earth plane. The big map, she's showing me the map. The dark is getting smaller and smaller, not because someone else is taking it away for you. It is because you are getting brighter and stronger in your light. So every time something shows up, whether it is grief and sorrow, whether it is something that appears to be an oppression, a codependency, a relationship, look upon it with the eyes of the divine, with courage, with compassion, and say thank you for reminding me that I get to say no, that I get to stand up, that I get to choose me, that I get to choose sovereignty, that I get to choose my freedom, because this is the lifetime for that. Those of you with massive persecution, you are not just, this is a culmination life. You are not just healing the lives where you are burned at the stake, where you are oppressed, the women who were silenced, the colors, races, everyone who is denied. I want to tell you, we were divided. We were divided masculine and feminine. I'm being shown the yin and yang again. Ava says, when you divide the masculine and feminine in the external world, it is a division of the masculine and feminine energy in the internal world of each individual soul. We marry those now on the inside, as within, so without. That is what we are doing. We were divided based on genders. We have been divided based on races. We have been divided based on cultures. We have been divided based on preferences. We have been divided based on politics and religions. We have been divided in so many ways. The Great Awakening is the great healing of this, because we cannot heal what we do not see. And in addition, some of you, all that's required at this point in time is just acknowledging, oh, that's what that is, and relinquishing it. And it is done. and it is written, and it is no longer. This is the piece of the transcendence, the fourth dimensional aspect, or the fourth density, as some would call it. Everyone has a different label for it. Please change the labels of your stories. Change the label or the glasses that you don in this new dimension, because this is the dawning of the age of Aquarius, and it is the golden era. The Christ has risen. Yes, it has. The Christ within has risen. These are all opportunities. Every time you see the dark, every time you see that darkness, flood it with light. That doesn't mean you sacrifice yourself. That doesn't mean that it takes away from you. It doesn't mean you tolerate something that is loveless. It means you stand for more. It means you demand more. It means you have a higher tolerance and a higher frequency for unconditional love. As you raise your frequencies, as you become aware to all of these different things, this is unity consciousness. It is acknowledging where there is divisiveness. It is acknowledging where there is separation. It is acknowledging when dark energy shows up, we can say no, and it can be flooded with absolute light. We can take the words spoken at us, over us, to us, and through us, acknowledge and see the words and transmute them, see them change and shapeshift into light, into gold divine wisdom, into love, into empowerment, into Christ consciousness, into sovereignty, into freedom, and then thank it. Thank the dark, because that's what it's doing for us right now. Do not lose your faith. Do not lose your power. You simply need to look at it with a slightly different, tweaked perspective. I've had to do this a lot in the last year, my friends. And I have done a lot of different spiritual expansion things in the last year with a lot of different people. And I have to tell you, this is becoming so obvious, and it is part of the Dark Energy series. It is digging down into the nitty gritty, understanding the different patterning, understanding the ways that it shows up so that we can conquer. You are here to conquer. That does not mean you are conquering over other people. It means you are conquering and becoming one with self, which is one with all, which is self-rulership, rather than being ruled by the past, ruled by others, ruled by conditioning. It is self-rulership. It is ultimate freedom. It is when you can stand in the room and see all the darkness around you and know it cannot touch you, because it is there simply to show you how powerful you are. This is a really powerful message, and it needs to be. It needs to be, because as we have a great awakening, all this stuff comes up and out. Whatever you are doing, whatever you are facing, wherever you are feeling disempowered, check in with the self and take a moment. How can this empower me? What can this show me? Who can I get to help me? Because guess what? There are many of us helping. And I want to tell you, they're showing me right now, somebody being placed in the dark. I also need to tell you, over the last 7 days, I have repeatedly been taken and shown intuitively inside the Earth's core. Brilliant white frequency and light has been literally opening and beaming out of the earth sphere, plane, whatever your attunement to that is, or belief system. It doesn't really matter. The light is coming, is what I'm hearing from an Ariana Grande song. The light is coming. Watching it open, and all this light flooding up, shining up into the universal stadium, into the cosmic realms, into the different dimensional aspects for everybody. We said that there was just a few tickers left and the next wave of souls was almost ready. It has begun. Hallelujah is what I wish to say to that. I also wish to tell you, those of you dealing with a lot of targeting, spiritual warfare, dark magic, dark witches, all of those different things. Yes, that is in the Dark Energy series. The whole purpose of the Dark Energy series is to illuminate and empower each and every one of you, because what we're doing is we're simply flooding light into the darkness so that it is more empowering and it releases its grip and hold and can be transmuted. Because once those dark energies begin to see that they have lost their power, and it requires us to say no, 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 and consistently transmuting it into light and choosing our power. Every time it loses its power, loses that darkness, it actually comes to a point where it gets to transmute into higher frequency light. That's the full circle, my friends. That's the full circle. So if you feel like what you're doing isn't helping, if you feel like there is so much darkness happening right now, I will tell you that does appear to be that way. There is a lot happening everywhere. This world is on fire, changing the words of that song, and not literally. It's the energy, that dark energy coming up. So just remember, we are all helping. We are the divine incarnate. If you are asking for the divine for help, know that physical people are the divine incarnate. We in the 3D physical form, we are the divine incarnate. Please help each other. I would not be sharing any of these messages with any of you if it was not for other people's beautiful, kind, generous, and giving spirits, both in the energy and in my physical world that showed up when I needed it the most. Not when I thought I needed it, but when I truly needed it. That was when they all showed up. We are the divine incarnate. We are here to help each other. We are here to help ourselves too, if we need that. And that's important because that is the Christ within rising. I'm hearing this song right now because I have a little help from my friends. We all have help from our friends when we need it. And we will all be directed to go within when that's the best path or the right way or the right path for you. We are literally all interconnected, my friends. Despite what is happening on this earth plane, please see it clearly as an opportunity. See it clearly for what it truly is on the macro scale. It is the opportunity, the ability, and the choice that you have right now to look at all of them, all of the circumstances, where there is an absence of light or love, to flood it with that. Where you feel disempowered, use it as your springboard to empower you. Where it is words spoken of hate and delusion and lies, see the word melt and replacing it with love, truth, compassion, all of those beautiful things, because that is your power. That is what lies within you, the power to change that. And again, I'm being shown repeatedly over and over again, every single time you do this, that dark energy, that dark circumstance, that dark relationship, that person that pulls you down, perhaps, you are lessening the darkness and disempowering it. It loses its power every time you look at it from this perspective. And it loses its power to the point that they then get to transmute and move into a higher frequency as well. Remember, we are reconciling the first and second dimension. In the third dimension, right here, right now, elevating to fifth dimensional consciousness. Where we go one, we go all is a statement that was misused. And whoever that message is for, you know that message is for you. It was grossly misused in multiple ways. However, that statement is the absolute truth. We are all interconnected, whether or not your journey takes you south and mine takes me to my true north. We are all interconnected in some way, shape, or form in the great cosmic field, the one infinite creator. Again, I'm being shown, see the full circle as you stand up and say no, choosing your sovereignty, saying no to the darkness, not allowing it to disempower you, but rather using it to catapult you, stepping stone, springboard, however you wish to look at it, into empowering you. You didn't just stand up for yourself, but you healed all of the past and all of the bloodlines, because as that darkness becomes disempowered, they too then get to transmute and elevate beyond that third dimensional view into the fifth dimensional consciousness too. What you are doing is working. What you are doing is powerful. Do not stop. Take a break if you need to. Rest if you need to. But let this be your soul core. Let this be your soul core reminder. Love lights, dear hearts. What you are doing is having a massive effect. We are in full swing. The next wave of souls is completely ready at this time. I'm getting a green light from the Planetary Commission. It is written. It is written. It is written. As always, beautiful souls, I am deeply honored at your courage, your bravery on your journeys, the places you have all been, because sometimes when I see the darkness some of you stand in, have to take a moment because it's very emotional. Sometimes when I see all the darkness that you have stood in, I am in awe. And for the people who stand in darkness in order to awaken others for that sole purpose, I'm actually in awe of that too. So just know there is a room right now that somebody is in that feels dark, self-imprisonment. I want to say for some of you, for others of you, it feels like another, but truly in all ways, shapes and forms, I'm seeing the phoenix break out of a cage, saying, I will no longer self-imprisonment. I will no longer have self-imprisonment. I will no longer allow somebody else to force me into self-imprisonment. I'm hearing freedom is yours. Freedom, freedom, because I don't belong to you and you don't belong to me. I'm also seeing, I'm being told, Ava says, remind them of the other image you keep seeing. I'm not just seeing an entire earth sphere or earth plane being lit up with white light from the center core exploding from it out into the ethers. I am also seeing a room with a pentagram engraved in the middle. This is not for the white witches. This is for those of you who have misused it. The darkness, I'm literally, and this is across the planes, across the earth plane. I am watching each and every one of you become so empowered that you're taking a staff and it is being tapped so lightly with sheer divine will and power in the center of it. And it literally splits it open. And all this beautiful white ray frequency is, I'm seeing the earthquake. I am seeing all this light flood up and out of it. No more, I am hearing, no more. It is done. It is written. So be it. It is no more. And it is because of each and every one of you. Whomever that last message is for, I wish to tell you, thank you for being you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for helping each and every one of us through everything you do. You know not the ripple effect that has gone onto the earth plane because of you. Truly, you know not the light that has rippled out to consciousness because of you. So, wow, there are tears of joy and gratitude, and I'm a firm believer that tears are a beautiful cleansing and a beautiful purifying and a beautiful purging. And I honor those sacred tears that I know many of you have cried over your journeys, and I too have done as well. I'm wishing you all love, light, peace, healing, transcendence. And I'm literally seeing all of these white candles with each of you, your soul's core essence growing so big right now. Tall pillar candles that are taller than the rooms, breaking the roofs. The roof is being set on fire. And as the roof is set on fire and transmutes, that candle grows all the way up into the ethers, becoming your fifth I am pillar of divine light. The Christ within has risen. Dear hearts, I will leave you with the white horses, wild horses running free, representing freedom is yours, which is the master number 33. And of course, when you feel like you need a good, deep spiritual cleanse of all of those dark residue, please find the link in the video description box below for the quantum spiritual clearings with myself. As well, you can also book an intuitive guidance reading or a mediumship reading if you wish to connect with your loved ones, your guides, go through your soul blueprints. Whatever needs to come through for you is what comes through. And you can find that in the video description box below. And last but not least, if you are a divine feminine who is absolute magic, who is opening your gifts, wanting to expand and needing a support community to help you continue on that path to strengthen and amplify you so that you can be all of you, please join us in the Channel Your Light community. You can find the link for that in the video description box below. We are going to be beginning shortly our next 21-day spiritual expansion, moving through the 13 chakra energy centers, activating, opening, and expanding into those beautiful realms, dimensions, perceptions, and activations. I can't wait to see you in there. The link for that again is in the video description box below. I'm sending you all much love. Until next time, beautiful souls.